Back in another video, June 26th, next year was open. Let's jump to the video. So, if you kids in the early today, I made a video about the um, news about Hack Snyder is working on the passion project that isn't Snyder Cut of Justice League, where because the fans want it, but it actually released it on HBO Max, and it sucked. Nobody went to see what because the Fall Bear movie's gone on day streaming on HBO. But well, I'll digress. But the reason that the next project was going to be the last photograph, and the mediocre film was pretty much plot was too similar to the Fall Bear film that is that as called Civil War. It was a Fall Bear film, but because it's way better than the Hack Snyder's slow mo trademark BS thing, whatever the hell this is. But the videos did so well, and especially it was supported by a good friend, Jake Ali from Studio Jake Media. So I really appreciate all of this video. However, after the video was posted, there is something read wrong. What happened? Hack Snyder is going red wrong from Netflix. Now, if you read the title of this video, I know the why Netflix ended the partnership with Hack Snyder for now. Well, this is not definitely not a clickbait, but it is true, sort of. But here's why. So a few months ago, again, my dear friend of mine, Jake Ali for Studio Jake, made a vidcast about he's working on with the LADB action thriller movie from Netflix. He had a lot of disrespectful thoughts about that problem, about the why the people the Hack Snyder is a hack. Well, because after that video aged well because that's pretty much especially after the disaster Rebel Crap movies that Netflix already rejected the director's $1 million LADB action thriller movie from because that's too probably too expensive, and after the negative response, mostly a negative or negative feedback about the disaster of that is the Rebel Crap movies. And yes, the franchise is already dead because it's already over. You can find someone else. Maybe the son Eli Snyder was took over and like, oh, this is gonna be might gonna be worse. That it would never. This better the her father's film career, but still. Anyway, this is from the worldofreal.com. So here's reporting. As of the Rebel Crap expendable, it looks like Zack Snyder's Netflix one might have been hit on a war. Ba-boom. Last December, to the surprise of many, they announced that Snyder will helm the untitled LTB action thriller movie from Netflix that was a petition was the filmmaker's next film. So much of that. Word broke yesterday that Snyder's actual project, The Last Photograph, will be made independently without Netflix, and with Stuart Martin and Fred Free, two actors he worked with on Rebel Crap, set to star. Um, in Snyder reporting, I'm gonna take it a second. Um, I don't know that this is going to be a different. Like in Snyder, Jeff Snyder. No, not that the last name was pretty much related to that, because he's a scooper. He's first scooper with many stuff on the YouTube. He's on the John Rocha channel. I mean, I know John Cambia and Judy Cordes' father channel, but not Jeff Snyder or John Rocha, because I know he's reporting scoops about the all kinds of company stuff from movies like Marvel and movies and TV like Marvel, Harry Potter, Sonic, Transformers, yada yada yada. But except these and of course DC, because I know Jeff Snyder are beefing with James Gunn lately, the head of DC Studios, because the movie is pretty much hating, and Jeff Snyder hating him on YouTube, hating about that. You see the video on Twitter and all the social media that he not happy for about the about hating James Gunn because he was an annoying film head of the company. But I know Jeff Snyder is a totally douchebag. He's not. He's a terrible scooper. I mean, after the untidy passing of Mikey Sutton, that's like, you know what? Let's bring the new Mikey Sutton, Jeff Snyder, if you will. I could BS. Jeff Snyder is a terrible scooper, and I mean John Campia is a far better YouTuber. So, and Joe Rocha, no one cares. John Campea is far better, and so Jodie Corters. Okay. Uh, Anyway, let's continue. Yeah. Now reporting that Snyder relationship with Netflix film chief Dan Lin. Oh, I'm not gonna mention Dan Lin was the anti-Snyder guy. If you know, he hates Zack Snyder. He might be hired as a newly founded DC Studios before James Gunn take over, along with Peter Safran. But he also responsible. Dan Lin was a production company right back. Entertainment that if you pretty know he's highest grossing movie all time was Disney's Aladdin movie with Guy Ritchie directing, and I'm not sure, but Dan Lin was an anti-Snyder guy. He hates Snyder a lot, mostly after the even they supposedly held him as the head of DC Studios for Warner Brothers, but Sasab didn't like it. So yeah, that's why Dan Lin hates Zack Snyder because he's an anti-Snyder guy. What did with Toby Enric, the previous WB film head? Okay, anyway, let's continue. Has to become the pretense. Lin apparently impressed by both Rebel Crab movie and the relentless social media frenzies about Snyder. Yes, the cold Snyder cult, if you will. What's the will to hand to the filmmaker another massive check? Snyder Richard picks to Lin a character-driven action thriller set inside the LADB which invited the Netflix chief, but the price tag did not. Sources said Snyder wanted $1 million to make the movie. For the contest, each Rebel Crab installment landed at $83 million. Lin pushed back, suggesting something with the 75 and $80 million range. Snyder refused to come down for his number, and that's where the entire thing fell apart. He's now making another film, The Last Photograph, without Netflix, with the two low-key actors attached. That two actors, Stuart Martin and Fran Free, are from Rebel Crab movies, of course. So yeah, and the reason that like I said, Dan Lin is an anti-Snyder guy. What did with Toby Enric, previous ex Warner Brothers film head, because he hates because Dan Lin was probably didn't disagree with Snyder because he's a part aspect of it. I mean, I know at produce. Yeah, I mean, Dan Lin was probably disrespect about this film. Like, I mean, Scott Stewart was great relationship with Snyder, but unfortunately he got fired and started a production company for Amazon NGM. But even Dan Lin was really hates it so much because he might be cut ties with Snyder with Zack Snyder and the production company Stone Carter Productions entirely because he didn't like to do in more like a kind of projects after the failure of Army Dead and the Rapid Crap movies and especially Twilight of the God series. There's probably going to be a supporting movie for the second season. Unfortunately, after the failure of Rebel Crab and so Twilight of the God series, they canceled art entirely. And also, Twilight of the God series is written and co-directed by Jay Olivia because he's known working with the Snyder, but however, is a terrible screenwriter, all this department, yada yada. Because Tom King is a better writer than Jay Olivia because he's a terrible writer. He's completely ruined DC comics. Like he's an author of DC Studios with James Gunn, and he also working with the Archie comics movie with at Universal with Lauren Miller producing. Yeah. You know the rest. But I think that the reason that Dan Lin was not happy because he totally hates Zack Snyder after the Scott Stewart left, and because yes, Dan Lin is a anti-Snyder guy. Okay, much like Toby Enric did with as head of XWB film heads, of course. But anyway, let's continue on. This leaves Snyder in the position. He's still a name with a loyal fan base. Again, Snyder cultist. But no longer is a kind of the blank check support he once enjoyed as at Warner Brothers and then Netflix. Um, Independent financing as the $1 million 1,000 million dollars, $100 million cop drama isn't exciting easy to execute together. I got it, the budget of the last paragraph. Really, the last paragraph. Whoever write this at wordreel.com, this supposedly said the last photograph, not the last paragraph. I don't know what paragraph means. You not know that paragraph? I know it's a supposedly photograph, not paragraph. Do something right. Right, that Ryan, one writer for WarReal.com. Anyway, the last paragraph was way below that. Snyder and Netflix entered the 2 year, well, it ended in 2023, but yeah, thank God it's over. Film deal in July 2021. Under this partnership, Snyder made several projects, including Omni Dead, Spider of the Gods. It was actually a TV series, not a film, but and Rebel Crap Part 1 and 2 and Director's Cut. That might be where it ends? Yes, it was. Like I said, if you read the title video, yeah, I know Netflix has already cut ties with Zack Snyder entirely because he had it after this disaster that is Rubber Crab movies. I mean, about it due to reviewership was probably non gone problems that even the mostly Snyder cultists or Snyder bots, if you probably know, want to go see that Rebel Crab movies. But even the problem is that Netflix has to do and let it, doing other franchises become popular. There's Wednesday, there's Stranger Things, and then Squirrel Game, and a lot of others. But for me, Rebel Moon is, I'm sorry, Rebel Crab franchise is not gonna happen. And Omnia Dead and Triumph of the Gods franchise are finito. It's over. But you know what else is better viewership? That they had different streaming service. That's right. Peter Safran-Produced has a stage movie starring John Cena, Idris Elba, and Richard Coppola, and my good friend of mine from 5 Second Films days, Jack Quayle. And I say it is far better movie than the Hack Snyder's Web of Crap movies. But I agree because I made a video and I got better viewership. It was on the second biggest Amazon NGM movie on all time on Prime Video, and it was a surpass the Rabbit Crab movies on Netflix. So that's the first, and then all behind only behind the Quarantine 2, starring Bud Affleck and John Hall was a sequel. That movie that nobody watched is already flopped in the box office. We got the streamers to say, yeah, you know that movie sucked, and especially Bud Affleck's performance. Anyway, but for me, I just know the Head of States movie was gone massive hits, even in the Netflix and Prime Video standards. Even another Netflix film was pretty gone popular is the K-pop Demon Hunters. It was an animated film from Sony Pictures Animation, the same studio who made Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movies, was lower mirror producing. But I think the Head of States movie was far better than Rebel Crab movies. So I think that that delusional filmmaker I didn't like because he moved on to an independent thing, and they got even better. Snyder is also working on the UFC set broader film, was going to be distributed by Paramount Pictures in partnership with Edge Rating. I'm not sure, but I don't care. This is pretty much the I know the brother movie sucked, but it was good. But I think that make no sense. That after I think this movie sucked, and so the last photograph is going to be a failure in the box office. It might be going to be good. No, it going to be bad. Yes, but we'll see what happens. If the last photograph was good and made, greenlit by the studio, and I hope this movie sucked. Even this, and I think that the back-to-back project between the last photograph and brother movie was pretty good. To be filmed back to back, not include the edit to be action filler, because Netflix already rejected, including the Dan Lin, the Anti-Snyder guy. So there's that. So thank God, not Netflix has officially a partnership with Zack Snyder or Hack Snyder as a call, because he Netflix is move on to do a better plans, like doing like Stranger Things finale and the new season is Wednesday, and that K-pop Demon Hunters is six. And you know what? I think Amazon NGN and Prime Video was much better because Head of States movie become popular because of reasons that this fall better leadership that the Rapid Crap movies on Netflix. So let's see what happens if this movie gonna film begin next month or something. But if it's gonna be dead, but yeah, I won't support this filmmaker's crappy stuff. So go watch a Head of States film on Prime Video instead. And what happened? I'm gonna go watch Peacemaker season 2. It's coming tomorrow on Netflix as I record this video. So go watch it and everyone would say if he was a if, since the James Gunn Superman movie was a box office success. Now, anyone Snyder Bros and cultists would respond, "This movie is already a failure because the Man of Steel was beating box office. Go Potter, Snyder, Wallace Clark." No, James Gunn's Superman movie is already box office success. It was a far better domestic than the crappy Man of Steel and Batman v Superman movie. So, Cope Hyder, keep your wallets open, okay? As always, I'm probably say I'm up. So anyway, so yeah, I think Netflix is done working with this hack filmmaker, but we'll see what. That hack filmmaker will continue making movies without gonna losing money. So we'll see what happens. So that pretty much it of this video on my Anti-Snyder channel, and I'll probably doing more someday. And thank you, and again, thank you so much for all the support of my last couple of videos and on my channel was mostly as Snyder fans. We appreciated that. Except for harsh critics, you are the racist black Lex Luthor that everyone say 1A every time. Unlike that other racist black kid would say 1A. So Cole Potter house critics, keep your wallets open. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about the Netflix ended the partnership with Hack Snyder? Let me know what's the name. And what are your thoughts about the next project of the god awful the Civil War ripoff, The Last Photograph? Do you are you not excited for real? Let me know. But I don't know. As for me, I would support Zack Snyder's stock because he's a hack and he's a delusional filmmaker. But I think James Gunn is far better filmmaker than Hack Snyder. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget ring the notification bell and share your friends. And remember, Snyderverse is dead. Move on. Keep your wallets open. Thanks for watching, and see you later.